Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. My name is Nathanael Morton and I am a strength and conditioning coach who specializes in vertical jump training. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to train in season. And this is going to be specific for basketball players, but if you do play another sport, this goes for other sports as well. Before we get into the video, make sure that you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed, and comment jump down below in the comment section if you want a free bodyweight vertical jump training program. If you are interested in my paid programs, it's $20 a month for me to personally coach you through customized programming, whether or not you're in season, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced, whether or not you have knee pain or not, your current vertical jump, whether or not you have access to weights. I will take all that into consideration and make a personalized custom coaching program for you. The link will be down below in the description and in the pinned comment. Let's get started. How to train in season. Ladies and gentlemen, here's how this video is going to work. It's going to be split into 4 parts. Part number 1 is going to be the rules to follow. These are the overarching rules that you should be following when you are training in season. Part number 2 is I'm going to give you the exact loads and percentages of each block of your training while you are training in season so that you get stronger, faster, and more explosive with a higher vertical jump by the end of the season, by your playoffs and championship, than when you started in the beginning of the season. Part number 3 is I'm going to give you an example workout, what something would look like if you have weights, and then what something would look like if you don't have weights. And then part number 4 is going to be nutrition. So if you want to stick around for that, I'll teach you how to eat before and after your games and before and after your practices. Let's go. Rule number 1, and this is the major role when it comes to training in season, is that you want to be training with less volume. So if you are a basketball player and you are taking basketball, taking your sport, your craft seriously, then there are 3 main components of your training. There is your conditioning. You want to be able to run up and down the court without getting out of breath. There's your skill sessions, which are your shooting and your handles. And then there are the weights, where you try to get more athletic, you try to get stronger and more explosive. You want less volume in all of these, okay? Because you are in season, and I'm talking about a high school athlete, a college athlete who is practicing or having games 5 to 6 days per week, your conditioning comes from your practices and your games. So you want no extra conditioning. When you're in the off season, sure, what I like to have my athletes do is twice a week, they run a mile as fast as they can. Twice a week, they do agility work. And then twice a week, we are doing sprints and HIIT workouts. So, but when you're in season, none of that, okay? It all comes from your practices and from your games. If you do extra conditioning, it's likely that you could be overtraining. Number 2, skill sessions. Here's where you can do more, okay? You have to look at all the other athletes. If you're a high school basketball player, everybody is practicing once a day with their team, okay? So if you want to get ahead, you want a better shot than everybody else, you want better handles than everybody else, you can do extra work, but make sure that it is low intensity. You don't want anything that's going to tax your body way more, pushing you into that overtraining stage. So skill sessions, you can definitely do extra, get ahead of the game, Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality, but make sure that it is a little lower intensity. Don't be going crazy with how much impact is on your legs and your body. Weights, 2 times per week instead of 3 times per week. So for my athletes, when they're in the off season, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we are training. When they are in the in season, we might do a Monday, Wednesday, and then the Friday volume day. The volume comes from your practices and your games. So 2 times per week is all that is needed from the weights when you are in season. And I mentioned Monday, Wednesday. I wouldn't do Monday, Wednesday. I would look at when your games are. For example, if you're a high school player, your games might be Tuesday and Friday. What you want to do is work out the day after your games. And I know you're going to be a little bit tired, a little bit sore, but you want to be fresh for your next game. So you need to work out, hit your weight training workout the day after your game. So if your games are Tuesday, Friday, you would want to work out Wednesday, Saturday, okay? Then low sets, low reps, high intensity. So that is how we get stronger, more explosive with a higher vertical jump, is we are still trying to hit PRs. We are still trying, actively focusing on getting stronger and getting more explosive. We want to try to move the weight faster. We want to move heavier weights, but we're doing low sets. We're doing low reps. okay? And never train to failure when you are in season. Never, never. It's just gonna attack your central nervous system even more. So low sets, low reps, high intensity. I'll give you more on that when I give you an example workout and when I tell you the percentages that you should be using. Then moving on to the next roll, so that's the major roll. Moving to the next roll, full body compound movements. So 2 days a week you're gonna be training. That's going to be lower body and upper body, okay? And you're gonna be doing compound movements. So you're gonna do the squat, the deadlift, the bench press, and the overhead press. And you could do some accessory stuff if you want. I'll show you more when I give you a workout. But that's it, full body compound movements. That's twice a week that you're gonna be training, still going for PRs, still trying to get stronger, still trying to get faster, still actively trying to get more explosive with a higher vertical jump, but it's going to be less intensity, less volume on your system since you are getting all of that from your practices and from your games. Then plyometrics. This is a big question. Should you still do plyometrics while you're in season? Yes, but low volume as well. So I get this question a lot. People say, I'm doing sprints during my games. I'm doing a lot of jumps during my games. Should I still do plyos? Yes, because basketball is already a lot of plyos, but it's a lot of unorganized plyos. And if you're good at your left foot dunk or your left foot layup, then you're going off your left foot a lot more, okay? So what I do with my athletes is with your plyometric sessions, you want low volume, high intensity. So that'd be something like 5 sets of 3 reps of dumbbell squat jumps, okay? That'd be low volume, not too many reps, but high intensity. You are still trying to jump as high as you can with the weights in your hand. And I would practice your weak approaches. So I mentioned, if you are the best at going off of your left foot, you go off of your left foot much more than all of your other approaches. So what I like to do with my athletes is practice their weakest approaches. So if you were to do a plyometric session, you would do something like your worst approach, 1 set of 8 reps. Then your second worst approach, 1 set of 6 reps. And then your second best approach, you would do 1 set of 4 reps. And then your best approach, you're only doing 2 reps of max jumps off of that because you're getting tons of reps in your games and in your practices. So these are the overarching rules to follow. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to step 2, which is the percentages and the loads that you should use during each block of your training while you are in season. All right, here are the loads and the percentages that you should be using during each phase, each month, each block of your training while you are in season. So normally, if you're a high school athlete or a college athlete, your season is 3 to 4 months long. So month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. During your off season, you should have been already building, okay? But the reason I put the building phase here in month 1 is because I don't want anybody to watch this video and then think that they have to jump straight into the strength phase above 80%, because if you haven't been doing the building phase with weights, building your weight up, getting heavier and heavier, then just jumping straight into the strength phase could cause patellar tendonitis or an overuse injury. So here we go. Month 1 is the building phase. You should be using 40 to 80% of your 1 rep max with the weights that you use. So let's use squats for an example. If you are squatting, I want you to start the month with 40% and progressively overload throughout the month, get up to the weight where you are using 80% of your 1 rep max. Always lifting the weight as fast as you can with your intent on being explosive and working on speed and strength. The next block of our training is the strength phase, in which we would be using loads above 80% of our 1 rep max. It's called the strength phase because we are actively trying to get stronger during this phase, and you get stronger the most by using loads above 80% of your 1 rep max. You lift heavy weights to get stronger and stronger. So this strength phase will be month 2, and you go from 80% of your 1 rep max to 82%, to 85%, to 87.5%, to 90%, to 92%. So you're still progressive overloading, trying to increase that percentage when you lift using low volume but high intensity. So the high intensity comes from the heavy weight. The low volume comes from doing 2 reps or 1 rep per set. So that's month 2. Then you move to the speed strength phase, and this is 55 to 80% of your 1 rep max. That's the best loads to use for speed strength. That's month 3. And then you move to the peaking phase. And this is where you're using weights or loads below 55% of your 1 rep max. This is the last month, and we are getting lighter and lighter because we are moving the bar faster and faster. And all that strength that we built up, we are now turning that into speed strength. And then we are going to peak during our playoffs and during our championship so that we are dunking and putting people on a poster while we are in the championship. All right, so here is an example workout. And please understand that it is very hard to write just one workout because every single workout that you do during your season is going to be different. Your workouts from your building phase are different than your workouts from your strength phase. They're both different than your workouts from your speed strength phase and different than your workouts during your peaking phase. And your workouts during your strength phase, each workout is going to be different because you're trying to progressive overload, going heavier and heavier. So one workout, you might be using 80% of your 1 rep max for squat. The next workout, you might be using 82% or 90%. So all of these workouts are going to be different, but I'm going to do my best to explain this to you. And here, not only do we have one example workout, we have 4 different workouts, one workout from each phase during your season. So I'm going to give you an example of a workout from every single phase. Here's the exercises over to the side. Here's each phase. Here we go. Your first thing that you're going to do is a dynamic warm-up. You always need to do a dynamic warm-up first. That's across the board. I think everybody knows that. Then you're going to do reverse dead mills for 3 sets of 2 minutes each. This just warms up the VMOs. It's good for knee health. This is just a great warm-up to do before you do any workout. Then you're going to do dumbbell squat jumps. So low volume, high intensity plyometrics. Remember, so with your dumbbell squat jumps during your building phase, you're going to do 4 sets of 3 reps, and you're going to go from light to heavy. Remember, we want a progressive overload using heavier and heavier weight so that we can be ready for the heavy weight that comes during our strength phase. So 4 sets of 3, light to heavy. Then during our strength phase, 4 sets of 2 with heavy weight now. So you're gonna hold heavy dumbbells and you're going to do your weighted jumps, or you could even do trap bar jumps for your plyometrics at that point. Then you're gonna get into your speed strength phase. You're gonna do 4 sets of 2 with moderate weight, okay, so not as heavy. Then during your peaking phase, 4 sets of 2 with lighter weights, and focus on jumping as high as you possibly can. So more of a focus on speed and explosiveness than strength. Then we got our approach jumps. Remember, I said that you want to work on your worst approach more than you want to work on your best approach, because you use your best approach more during your games, okay? Because that's what you're used to. So when you are training your approach jumps during your workouts per week, remember 2 workouts per week, you're going to do 8 reps, 1 or 2 sets of 8 reps with your worst approach. This is to balance everything out, since during your layup drills, everything, you've probably been using your best approach the most. So 8 sets with your worst approach, then 6 with your second worst, then 4 with your second best, and then only 2 reps with your best approach. These are max jumps. So warm up to your jump session, touch the net first, then touch the backboard, then touch the rim, and then do your max jumps as high as you can. So we're still working on max jumps in season, but it's very low volume and it's more focused on your worst approaches. Then that's the same thing across the board. Then we get into the squats and the deadlifts. So notice that squats and deadlifts are the only 2 exercises that are here. You could add some Nordic curls. You could add some 1-leg Romanian deadlifts. You could add some calves, some tibialis raises. That would be fine. But for the sake that I didn't have as much on my whiteboard as I need, we're just going to look at squats and deadlifts. So squats, for your building phase, you would do 5 sets of 2 reps, okay? 2 sets of 5 reps is a lot different than 5 sets of 2 reps. You want low volume, high intensity. So 2 reps as hard and as fast as you can, light to heavy. So once again, you're starting with low weight, about 40% of your 1 rep max, and you are getting heavier and heavier and heavier with the percentages of your squat so you can get yourself ready for that strength phase. Then once you get into the strength phase for squats, you're gonna do 4 sets of 1 rep with, this is just an example, 90% of your 1 rep max. I would start with 80%, then the next workout, try 82.5%. The next workout, 85%, 87.5, 90, 92, 94. You can get up to like 97%, and then that will be your strength phase, okay? And that's squatting twice per week. Then what you're going to do is move to the speed strength phase, 4 sets of 1 rep with 70%, so now we're coming down in our 1 rep max. And then you're going to peak with 4 sets of 2 reps with 50% of your 1 rep max. So the focus goes from lifting heavy, building strength, to turning that strength into speed and explosiveness so that we can peak for playoffs and our championship. Then deadlifts, it's essentially the same thing. Okay, 4 sets of 2, light to heavy in the building phase. Then you're going 90% heavy in the strength phase, and it gets lighter and lighter as you go. And then at the end, that's when you would add your upper body, your bench press and an overhead press, something like a push press or a military shoulder press. And that is an example workout. Okay, if you don't have weights, what I would do is do your plyometrics first. You could still do the approach jumps. You could do the warm up. You could do the approach jumps. And then I would get into some strength exercises like a pistol squat or a Bulgarian split squat. Then once you get to the speed strength phase, then start doing some pistol squat jumps. Then start doing some Bulgarian squat jumps, okay? And then for your peaking phase, I would do all plyometrics for your peaking phase so that you don't have anything taxing your central nervous system and you are just bouncing for your game. So that's an example workout. Let's get into the last part, which is nutrition before and after your games and practices. For your nutrition, you wanna make sure that you are maximizing what you are consuming before and after your workouts, before and after your games, and before and after your practices. And the good news is that it is all the same. You should eat the same way before and after your workouts, practices, and your games. So here's how you should eat. Let's say you have a game at 7 o'clock. Okay, 7 o'clock is the big game. It's the rivals. You're trying to dunk on somebody from your rival school. What you should do is 4 hours before your game, you need to eat a main meal. And during this main meal, so this could be when you get home from school. Let's say you have your lunch while you're at school, if you're a high school athlete, or if you're in college, 12:30 would be a main meal. 3 o'clock will be when you get home from school, you have another main meal. It needs to have protein, complex carbohydrates, some healthy sources of fat, and probably some veggies and fruit. So that could be oats, whole grain rice, whole grain pasta, sweet potatoes for your complex carbohydrates. Your lean source of protein could be chicken, steak, fish, salmon, anything like that. You could have almonds or peanut butter for your healthy fats, and then any fruit and vegetable works. That is at 3 o'clock. Then at 5 o'clock, this is your pre-game meal. You want this meal to be smaller because you don't want to be full while you are having your game or your practice or your weight training session. So my pre-game meal that I always like is a bagel with peanut butter and a banana. Okay, gives us the banana for potassium, gives us the peanut butter for the healthy fats, and gives us a bagel, something good in our stomach that is going to fuel us for that game but not make us too full. Then at 6:30, a half hour before your game, you start sipping on a sports drink like a Gatorade or a Powerade, and you sip that through the game. If you are a starter or a 6-man and you actually play a lot of the game, then you need a sports drink. If you ride the bench the whole time, you probably don't need that sports drink. But if you're watching this channel, I'm guessing that you are a starter or you have dreams to be a starter. Then you have your game at 7 o'clock, and directly after your game, you want to either drink a protein shake or get a protein bar and another piece of fruit for some simple sugar. So banana, an apple, some blueberries, some grapes, anything like that. Then an hour after that, an hour after you have that shake after your game, you want to get another good meal with complex carbohydrates, lean sources of protein, healthy fats, and vegetables. So that could, at this point, it could be some ground beef. It could be a whole grain wrap for your complex carbohydrates with ground beef in it, with lettuce and salsa, and some avocado for your healthy fat. So that is your nutrition. That is how you should maximize your nutrition before and after your games, your practices, and your weight training sessions. And this is how to train in season and maximize your strength, your speed, and your vertical jump at the end of season during playoffs and championship, and not let it dwindle out like everybody else who is not training in season.
Young visionary, and I don't know where I am. I'm running blindfolded like I ain't got a plan. You either steady living life or you afraid to die.